Hey guys, hope you are all doing well today. So we have a matchup between the Lizardmen going up against the Warriors of Chaos. So this is a battle I haven't uploaded for a while on this channel, but it is definitely one of the most interesting matchups for the Lizardmen. I'd say it's relatively balanced and could really go either way. I think the biggest threat, of course, for the Lizardmen will be those Dragon Ogre Shaggots. They're just so tough to take down. And really, the best way to counter them is to go all out with your Carnosaurs. So I have gone with double Carnosaur and the Umbral Tide just to provide some anti-large missile fire, just in case they are needed, just because those Dragon Ogre Shaggots can just be such a nuisance for the Lizardmen. For the rest of the army, we have 3 units of Chameleon Skinks, a front line of standard Saurus Warriors backed up by 1 unit of the Cohort of Sotek, as I mentioned, double Carnosaur, and for the Lord, we have the Slann Mage Priest of Life going to be very vital in this matchup for healing up these Carnosaurs when they get low on HP, since they can be some of the squishiest dinos, and due to the fact that their cost is over 1600, especially for this Scarvet, you really need to keep them alive. And that's pretty much it for the Lizardmen build, going to be centered around the Carnosaurs, but the Infantry Corps is also very, very powerful. And for the Warriors of Chaos, we have 3 units of Marauder Horsemen who won't trade too effectively with Chameleon Skinks, seeing that they do get poison debuffs and have a 40% missile resist, so they might want to disengage or try to catch them in melee. A front line of just standard Chaos Marauders. Yeah, they'll last for a little while against Saurus Warriors, but they won't win, of course. But they are backed up by 4 units of Chaos Trolls, all of which are actually 2 units of Chaos Spawn and 2 units of Chaos Trolls, which are armored. So definitely a beefy, monstrous infantry corps to beat down the Lizardmen. In the back, we have 1 unit of Chaos Warriors with halberds protecting a Hell Cannon. An unbreakable artillery piece is definitely very powerful against the Saurus Horde coming towards the Chaos. We have double Exalted Hero, good for taking out Lords and Heroes. Definitely good at trading with those Carnosaurs, though they are... Seems like they are mounted, so the Carnosaurs anti-large might be able to do quite a bit of damage. But nonetheless, the Exalted Heroes are pretty tough to take down. And with that, seems to be it for the Warriors of Chaos. Of course, I forgot about the Lord. So we have Sarthorael, the Everwatcher, coming in with, let's see, Final Transmutation. And yeah, that's pretty much it. And Arcane Conduit, of course, to aid in the Winds of Magic. So, a good Final Transmutation on, say, the Umbral Tide or both Carnosaurs and the Life Slann could be very, very powerful. And with that, let's get this battle started. Initial skirmishing was going towards the favor of the Lizardmen, but now the Hell Cannon is taking a couple good shots into the Umbral Tide. I messed up by letting them get discovered too early, and so they will be losing a couple models due to the Hell Cannon. My ideology with the Umbral Tide is always try to hide them until you have a good target for them. Otherwise, the player will always be aware that the Umbral Tide is sitting in the backlines ready to pounce on any large units, and will actively take measures to shut them down. So try to hide them in the beginning of the battle, and when they have ideal targets such as Chaos Spawner Trolls or say a Dragon Ogre Shaggot, bring them in and start to fire, since their volleys can be very powerful right from the get-go. 1 Carnosaur coming in to take on Sarthorael the Everwatcher, along with a couple shots from the Umbral Tide. At this point, the Lizardmen range corps is actually very vulnerable. What I would have done at this point was just straight up charge the Marauder Horsemen into the Chameleon Skinks, since the Chameleon Skinks have next to no melee stats, but they are choosing to get bogged down by the poison darts of the Chameleon Skinks. In the back, they attempt to reach some of the Umbral Tide, but they do manage to turn and do a bit of damage back on these Marauder Horsemen, but the Umbral Tide have actually taken quite a bit of damage and are now charged by the double Exalted Hero. A Carnosaur comes to intercept them along with the Cohort of Sotek, but unfortunately the Umbral Tide will be on the run for the rest of the game. Man, that Hell Cannon shot just curved like crazy. Some crazy chaos magic to guide those shots, but the Umbral Tide once again gets caught by the Exalted Hero, and of course, in melee, though they do have decent stats, they're still a very squishy unit, and they won't be playing much of a further role in the battle. And this is why I always say hide the Umbral Tide at the beginning of the battle, so that when they come in, the opponent really has no weaponry to deal with them, since they've probably engaged most of their weapons with the Lizardmen front line. The Sarthorael trading decently with Sarthorael the Everwatcher, with a regrowth popped on him, but unfortunately he is getting beat down by Chaos Spawn. Though he has done quite a bit of damage to Sarthorael. Maybe Sarthorael wants to disengage, and the Umbral Tide is routing from the battlefield and will be escorted off by the Exalted Hero, an expensive loss for the Lizardmen. But on the side of Chaos, they have lost one Exalted Hero, and most of their Marauder Horsemen are very, very weak, while the skirmishing core of the Lizardmen is still very, very strong, which is one thing looking very favorable for them. Adding to the fact that, of course, the two Carnosaurs are still relatively healthy and doing quite a bit of damage. We have one beating down on some Chaos Spawn and Sarthorael, and the other one simply going after Chaos Trolls. These three Chameleon Skinks are just going to be a huge nuisance, one of the most annoying skirmishing units for opponents in the game, and they will get recharged by Marauder Horsemen, but with these many numbers they won't be doing too much damage. A great shot from the Hell Cannon. Even though these guys do have 40% missile resist, the Hell Cannon can do a bit of damage to the grouped up Chameleon Skinks. Of course, the great numbers of the Chameleon Skinks do manage to rout the Marauder Horsemen, and they continue their fire into both the Chaos Spawn and hopefully soon Sarthorael, since Sarthorael is actually doing a very good job of beating down the Source Scarvet, completely surrounded by Chaos Warriors, Chaos Marauders, and the Chaos Spawn. But a win for the Lizardmen, beating back a couple Chaos Marauders, some Marauder Horsemen, and all they have to deal with now are some armored Chaos Trolls, who the Feral Carnosaur will take good care of. Unfortunately, the Source Scarvet is routing from the battlefield, and I don't think I had enough Winds of Magic left to use a regrowth on him, since I had used all of it on a Earthblood to heal all these units. But he did the damage he was meant to do. Sarthorael is still very, very weak after taking a couple shots from Chameleon Skinks. Probably won't be able to engage in the battle much further. But unfortunately, the Chameleon Skinks are mostly routing from the battlefield. They have been caught by Chaos Spawn and Chaos Troll, well, actually only Chaos Spawn. So if they can manage to skirmish them to death, that would be very, very important for the Lizardmen. Feral Carnosaur, of course, doing a good job of beating down these Chaos Trolls, and the Slann Mage Priest of Life just hanging around in the protection of the Great Dinos. Unfortunately, most of the infantry core of the Lizardmen is falling apart. We only have the cohort of Sotek getting shot up by the Hell Cannon. Only 60 HP left, yet they somehow managed to rout these Chaos Marauders. The greatest weapon for the Lizardmen is going to be this Feral Carnosaur, but unfortunately, if the Slann Mage Priest of Life does rout, the Feral Carnosaur will be looking very, very bad on leadership. And let's see how the Chameleon Skinks are doing. Doing a good job of wearing down the Chaos Spawn. They do eventually catch up with these Chameleon Skinks, but they do have low leadership and run away before taking too much damage, allowing the rest of the Chameleon Skinks just to circle in and fire. Looks like the Scarvet has recovered, but I don't think I realized that in time to save him from this Exalted Hero, so unfortunately he will probably die. The Slann Mage Priest of Life is actually losing in battle with some Chaos Warriors with halberds. He does not have any melee capabilities at all. A huge banishment going down on top of this Carnosaur, routing all the units around him, and Sarthorael the Everchosen now charges into the Feral Carnosaur and falls to his death. Unfortunate that most of the Chaos support had run away by the time Sarthorael decided to charge into the Carnosaur, resulting in the death of the Chaos Lord. And now mostly it's just going to be up to Terror from the Carnosaur to rout off the rest of the Chaos units. Hell Cannon units are unbreakable, so they will be staying in melee for a while, but against the Carnosaur, they will not be faring very well. Chameleon Skinks doing their best to wear down this exalted hero. He is still very healthy and could easily take out the Slann Mage Priest and potentially a Carnosaur, and so the Chameleon Skinks really have to do a good job of wearing him down, poisoning him to death before he reaches in melee. Feral Carnosaur coming in upon his ideal target, some large Chaos Spawn, who will be trying to chase down the Slann Mage Priest of Life, still with 1100 HP, so he will be a bit tough to take down, and with that the Chaos Spawn will be running from the battle. They are unbreakable, but they will be dying very soon. Chameleon Skinks again doing a very good job of slowly but surely taking down the exalted hero. Actually, he still has a decent amount of HP left, but unfortunately it seems like his leadership is at the floor and he will be routing from the battlefield. Some Chaos Trolls are returning, but unfortunately a charge from the Feral Carnosaur will break these guys as well since they are already wavering, and with that, most of the Chaos units other than these unbreakable Chaos Spawn have been routed from the battle. So a great game from the Chaos player. I would say this is a very powerful Lizardmen build for taking down very powerful monster and Chaos Spawn and Troll based builds. And in this case, it definitely did its job. So it's a relatively tough build for Chaos to beat, but I think this Chaos player definitely did a good job in trying to combat its main problems. And let's quickly go into the end screen and see where things could have gone differently. So for the Lizardmen, of course, the two Carnosaurs were the carrying factors for the game. They were vital since most of these kills were on Chaos Spawn. One of them was Sarthorael, so each of these kills on the Carnosaur were extremely important to this battle. Chameleon Skinks as well, you generally can't expect too high of a kill count from these guys, but their poison debuffs were vital, and the Umbral Tide was a main mistake, of course, for the Lizardmen. Letting them die very, very early in the game really gave them a large, they were really hurt by the fact that they lost 1250 gold right from the get-go. And for the Chaos Warriors, one exalted hero was routed very quickly due to concentrated Chameleon Skink fire, so better protection for him would have done wonders. Two of them overextended a bit chasing the Umbral Tide, though one of them did manage to rout them off the field. The other one did pay the price. The rest of the infantry did relatively well. I'd say Chaos Trolls and Chaos Spawn have to be wary of the Feral Carnosaur, and Sarthorael was in battle with the Carnosaur for a bit too long, and great Hell Cannon play, of course, letting them use all their ammunition, and then, of course, in the final seconds of the battle, they were used to try and rout the Carnosaur, so I'd say the Hell Cannon play was a highlight. The big mistake for Chaos, I'd say, was the Marauder Horsemen. They definitely could have chased down these Chameleon Skinks who don't have the best speed. I believe they only have 46 speed, and so these Marauder Horsemen would have been able to chase them down and rout them off the battlefield before they could do too much damage, such as routing the Chaos Marauders, and in the end game, knocking out both exalted heroes, really, since the one at the end was also taking consistent fire from the Chameleon Skinks. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed that battle. Remember to like and subscribe if you enjoyed the content, and I'll see you guys in the next one.